While the renewed southwest flood threat diminishes, we do have two systems that should develop in the Atlantic, one of which could be very strong and very life-threatening. I'll go over what can we expect through the rest of this month in this video. ACUS Cyclone Friday, October 17th, 2025, starting with Invest 91E. It currently has 25 mile-an-hour sustained winds, a 20% chance of development in the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of development in the next 7 days. The chance has gone down over the past 24 hours, and I no longer expect it to develop. Chances started dropping for development yesterday, so I'm not surprised that this system will most likely not develop. Disturbance 2 in the Atlantic currently has a 10% chance of development in the next 2 days and a 10% chance of development in the next 7 days. And while its development chance is within the next 2 to 3 day window, don't be surprised to see this develop. My reason for this is, I would not be surprised. I think this could develop. My reason for this is as if you watch my video during Subtropical Storm Karen earlier this month, storms up north, they usually pop up a day or two before they actually develop. The National Hurricane Center designates them about in that time frame because it takes a while for models to pick up on them. Thankfully, they're very life-threatening. They usually stay out to sea. But the models don't usually pick up on them very early, so they do kind of pop up out of nowhere. And I think this could become a subtropical storm, a tropical or subtropical storm, most likely subtropical, but the low has been developing throughout the day. The low needs to get more organized, and then the center of it is going to try and produce a subtropical system. And I will be monitoring that closely. I don't think it brings any threat to land, though, whatsoever. Disturbance 1 in the Atlantic, it is currently a little over 1,000 miles from where it is forecast to develop. It currently has a 0% chance of development in the next 2 days and a 30% chance of development in the next 7 days. I do expect this to develop, and the forecast models for this system, first of all, it should move into the Caribbean by late next week and then could develop anywhere in this area. It's kind of a big area for development. Some models are showing it developing closer to Puerto Rico, while others show it developing closer to Jamaica, so it really depends on what happens. Starting with the European AI forecast model, they show this system, starting with the system up north, which could end up being Melissa instead of the one down south. They don't really show it disconnecting from, they don't really show it shedding its frontal boundaries. However, I do expect that to happen. And then they show this developing around the 24th, 25th, 26th time frame, which has been pretty consistent over the last few days of that time frame of development. However, they don't show it doing much. They don't, going into November, they just show it kind of just stalling there, but also not strengthening at all. So we'll see what happens. If that does end up happening, the European forecast model, this model run does not go out far enough. So I'm going to show you an earlier model run. They show this system being slow to develop, but closer to Jamaica than Puerto Rico. And then they show it kind of making a direct landfall on Jamaica, maybe strengthening into a Category 2 before going in between Haiti and Cuba, maybe even a Cat 3. And then they kind of show it stalling right in between and then heading for Cuba a little bit. But this is just one of their forecasts, or their model runs. So this forecast is going to change a lot. I'm not sure what's going to happen quite yet. If you remember yesterday, they were showing it being a high-end Category 4 or Category 5 storm. So the models change all the time, and it's going to change a lot by the time this system develops. By next Friday, this system could develop. I think it will develop next Friday. The GFS model, they show this getting pretty strong, and then if you see that weakening there from 949, which is a high-end Cat 3, low-end Cat 4, to 958, that's because it hits Puerto Rico. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but the worst hurricane to ever hit Puerto Rico was Maria in 2017. 2017 was the costliest Atlantic hurricane season on record, and it was just a wild season with Harvey, Irma, and Maria. But they do show this hitting as a Cat 3 or Cat 4. By the way, Maria made landfall in Puerto Rico as a high-end Cat 4. It's one of those that's kind of forgotten because it hit Puerto Rico. Even though it's a U.S. territory, it wasn't really talked about as much as, like, say, Katrina. Then they show this continuing into the Atlantic and then strengthening a little bit, maybe to a high-end Category 4 or a Category 5. However, at that point, it's not bringing direct impacts to land. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this system does do what a bunch of other systems have done this year, bringing very rough surf, coastal erosion, and not good rip currents, bad rip currents to the east coast of the United States, maybe causing a few more houses in the Outer Banks to collapse. That's been happening a lot lately. But we'll see what happens, and I will be monitoring all of this for you guys. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.